Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Monday. Man, what a weekend. Hey, Mimi, welcome in. Great mod, welcome in. Happy Monday. Hope you are well. We got a crazy one today. Um, but yeah, welcome in, everyone. My name is Angelina Tucci, and this is my broadcast where I cover local news, California news, politics, where I cover basically whatever I want to cover because it's my stream and we do have fun here. I mean, no, that's making it sound like we don't have fun here. We do what is fun here and what is great. So welcome in. We got a great one. We'll let the music keep playing a little bit while I pull up the rest of my tabs. But yes, ooh, we got the dab in. Crazy, crazy, crazy weekend. I don't even know what's happening national news, but Trump has been crazy too. Okay. Let's see if we can find. Obviously, the biggest story right now is the Mission Inn was sold. Let me pull that up from the. Oh, it was from the Raincross Gazette from Riverside. All right, let's get into this right off the bat. We got the big news going first. Hold on. Okay. All right. So yeah, big news for today. My inside sources told me this was happening, told me it was coming. I was excited for it happening. The Mission Inn museum and hotel and everything has been crazy. I don't know too much about it, but I mean, if you've been to Riverside, you know the Mission Inn hotel, you know the Mission Inn museum, you know that this is like basically the place to be in Riverside. If you are a big person, you are going to be staying at this hotel. I bet even Princess Diana stayed at this hotel if she could. All right. So from the Raincross Gazette, by Justin Podry. The Mission Inn heads to new ownership. Oh, I don't even know. Sam Manuel Mission Indians bought it, bro. So crazy. Heck yeah. Mission Inn has a lot of history. Ironically enough, I think when the Epstein files were popping off of a while back, a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, it came out that Jeffrey Epstein had stayed in the Mission Inn hotel, and that's freaking crazy. Okay, but let's read this article. I'm sorry. May 4th, 2026, 10 a.m. The Mission Inn Hotel and Spa, the National Historic Landmark that anchors downtown Riverside, will be acquired by the U. I gotta figure out how to say that now. Okay, because it's gonna come up a lot, and I don't want to be disrespectful. Let's look up how to say this Indian's name. Is there a Wikipedia? Yes. Oh, there's Serrano. Okay. But how do we say Yuha Aviatam? Yuha Avitatam? I don't know. Chat. Yuha Viatam. Thank you. Thank you, Mimi. Yuha Viatam. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Chat coming in clutch. All right. Thank you so much. You have Viatam. You have Viatam. You have Viatam. You have Viatam. Got it. Sorry, chat, for hearing me say this. Okay. The you have Vietnam of San Manuel Nation, the tribe announced Monday morning. Let me open this link. That's probably their little press release. The agreement between the tribe, San Manuel Investment Authority, and the Roberts family is expected to close as early as the end of May. Crazy. The deal ends the 33-year ownership of Dwayne and Kelly Roberts. Wow, they bought it in 1993. How do I know this? Because I am 33 years old. Man, so they've been owning this since 1993. Hey, Daniela. I mean, Professor Guzman, thank you for being in chat. Professor Guzman, thank you. Riverside is about to rattle? In what way? I am not a Riverside native, nor do I know anything about Riverside. We are learning about Riverside together. Tell me, chat, how is this going to shake up Riverside? That's crazy. That's crazy. Because in my mind, I'm thinking it's just the museum is being switching ownerships, ownership, and that happens all the time, right? Hey, Stardust City Hag, welcome in. Thank you for being here. And yes, big shout out to Professor Guzman. Thank you guys. Happy Monday morning, by the way. Happy Monday morning. I'm thinking we also need to look up Dwayne and Kelly Roberts and if they were friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Oh, yes. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for being in here, everyone. I see there's quite a few people in chat. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It will help me get more local news out like this. Raincross Gazette is great and they are a great resource, but they are not streaming live on YouTube like I am. So this is the only place live on YouTube with such a great personality such as your host here. Um, this is a one of a kind. So please hit that little thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Oh, Kelly is MAGA. Wow, the Roberts are MAGA. Okay. That's so weird how I'm sorry, chat. The autocorrect, like it's correcting MAGA to be herself. I know. It's a weird auto. Google's doing weird stuff. Okay. All right, let's get back to the article. Thank you for being in here, everyone. We got to figure out a little bit more. Yes, we are getting the tea. All right. The deal ends the 33-year ownership of Dwayne and Kelly Roberts and brings the 238-room property under the tribe's stewardship, expanding a hospitality portfolio that already includes Yamava's Resort and Casino in Highland, the Palms Casino and Resort in Las Vegas, and the Waldorf Astoria Monarch Beach Resort and Club in Dana Point. No way. Yamava's all over the place. Oh, excuse me. Yamava's just one place. Hold on. Let me go back to you have Vietnam. You have Vietnam are all over the place. That's crazy. So wait, does that mean that the Mission Inn Hotel is now going to host a bunch of random stand-up comedians? They're going to have Kelly Clarkson. We're going to see all these ads on the side of the 10 and the 210 now for different performances at the Mission Inn. That's going to be crazy. All right. The Mission Inn holds a special place in our hearts. Tribal Chairwoman Lynn Valbuena said in a statement. Generations of our family love the inn for its charming ambience and for the memories we've made there over the years. We recognize its historic, economic, and cultural significance to Riverside and the region, uh, and would be delighted to include the Mission Inn in our non-gaming hospitality portfolio. Man, they got a big portfolio, huh? Oh, we need to get a little bit of visuals up here. Here, let's check out because I've always known that the Mission Inn I know the Mission Inn as being this crazy Christmas light destination thing. So here we go.
Kicking off the holiday
Let's just
spirit in
watch
the
this real
Inland
quick.
Empire, the Mission Inn, you see it there, flipping the switch for the annual Festival of Lights. CBS LA's Zach Boetto was there as the lights flipped on and the fireworks went off.
It is lit tonight here at the Festival of Lights. Tens of thousands of people flock to downtown Riverside to see just this, guys. All these beautiful Christmas lights, fireworks, celebrating the holiday spirit. And
Hell
this
yeah,
year
look at that.
is extra sentimental because the man who started the Festival of Lights passed away just this month. This
Oh,
is the
who
first
was it?
festival since his passing.
3, 2, 1, go!
Damn, is this why they sold?
Tens
Because
of
the
thousands of
Roberts
people
died?
flooding the streets of downtown Riverside Saturday night to see the fireworks pop off and the Christmas lights shine around the Mission Inn Hotel, marking the unofficial start.
Mimi said 1 year it caught on fire from the fireworks. No way. The Mission Inn caught on fire from their own fireworks. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I just heard from an anonymous source that the Mission Inn. No, wait, Mimi, you saw it live? You saw the fire the mission get on fire live? Bro, okay, hopefully this new ownership is going to be a lot of changes. We need like a fire team on there like around the clock. But anyways, I was going to say anonymous tip that just came in through my DMs telling me that the owners of the Mission Inn used to pretend that the Mission Inn was one of the missions, like one of the California missions. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that they would try to pass it off as one of the, like, missions that Father Sierra or whoever the heck, the projects that we had to do in fourth grade that we don't no longer do anymore. Well, I don't know if they still do it, but picking a mission to study. And wow, I can't believe they tried to pass it off as a mission. That's crazy. It's just a hotel, brother. It's just a hotel with fireworks.
Start of the holiday season.
Every year we're coming with our families multiple times during the season.
It's an annual tradition for many, and for families who drive in from across the state, a favorite way to get into the holiday spirit.
We come from Los Angeles all the way over here. This is like the beginning of the holidays now. So here we go, shopping.
Heck yeah.
Organizers say 12 million lights illuminate the historic Mission Inn at the center of the celebration, an event which hundreds work year-round to get perfect for this night.
This is the big event for the hotel. We'll have, as many people as a Taylor Swift concert tonight. 75.
He said we'll have as
It's
many
just
people
crazy.
as a
It's a
Taylor
really fun
Swift
night.
concert.
The man
Bro,
who founded the Festival
Mission
of
Inn
Lights,
is pulling
Dwayne
Taylor
Roberts,
Swift numbers. I
bought
don't
the
believe
Mission
it.
Inn back in 1992.
Oh, what? Hey, Mimi, was the fire 6 years ago? Is this it? Is this the Mission Inn on fire? I mean, this is not during fireworks. This is like during the daytime. That's crazy. Oh man, people are coughing. Now that just says the Mission Hotel. I don't know if this is the Mission Inn. No, this is not the Mission Inn. Oh, that was in Bakersfield. Riverside Mission Inn temporarily
And new
closing.
here at 6, the historic Mission Inn in Riverside is closing at least for a day or so. Hotel officials say they're having a problem with their boiler system that requires immediate attention. They will
Oh,
be
damn.
contacting guests with reservations.
This happened 8 months ago because they didn't have heat. That's crazy. Hold on, let me like this.
to reschedule or arrange other accommodations. And they hope to reopen Friday morning.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Oh, okay, here we go. This is the guy
Now,
that
sad
died.
news from Riverside. The owner of the Mission Inn Hotel, Dwayne
This is
Roberts,
why they
died in
sold
his
it.
sleep Saturday. His widow, Kelly Roberts, says it comes just days away from his 89th birthday. She also says he helped revitalize and strengthen the community, supporting causes like animal welfare, education, veterans health care, and the arts. He will be remembered, she says, as a husband, stepfather, grandfather, and proud veteran.
Oh, crazy. So he owned it. He died and is donezo. Is donezo. Donezo. All right. Crazy. Someone said, "May the Lord God bless his soul in Jesus' name. Thank God. Amen." John 13:16. Jesus' forgiveness heals and saves. Thank you, Jesus Believer 3891. 6 months ago, left this comment on this video in honor of Dwayne Roberts. Sorry, Chad. I'm having DM conversations on the side with important Mission Inn news. All right. We'll get back to the article right now. Okay. Oh, hold on. I need to. The you have you have a you have Tom. You have Tom. The Yuhaviatam of San Manuel Nation, headquartered in Highland, reclaimed its ancestral name in April 2025 after generations of being known under the name imposed by the U.S. government in 1891. Yuhavatam means people of the pines. In the Marayam, I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong, language, the language of the Serrano people, whose ancestral homeland spans the San Bernardino highlands, passes valleys, mountains, and high deserts. The Mission Inn will be the tribe's first major property in Riverside. Dwayne Roberts purchased the Mission Inn in December 1992. I called it 1993, I said, from Chemical Bank for $15.6 million following a city-led restoration that pulled the hotel back from years of bankruptcy and decline. That same year, he launched the Festival of Lights. Okay, there we go. We saw that, which our top mods have seen catch the hotel on fire. The holiday tradition that draws estimated 700,000 visitors to downtown Riverside each season, and that, according to the 2023 Economic Impact Study, generates an estimated $154 million from the regional economy. Roberts died November 1st, 2025, at the age of 88. In March, the City Council created a Civic Achievement Award in his and Kelly Roberts' name, with the couple as the inaugural recipients. That's crazy. It has been an honor of a lifetime to serve as a stewardess of the Mission Inn, Kelly Roberts said in a statement. Dwayne and I poured our hearts into preserving its legacy while evolving it for future generations. I am incredibly proud of what we built together and deeply grateful to our team, the Riverside community, and every guest who has walked through its doors. I have a great confidence that the Yuhaviatam of San Manuel Nation will carry this legacy forward with the same care, respect, and vision. I hope so. Pyramid Global Hospitality, an independent hotel operator, will manage daily operations at the Mission Inn. The tribe confirmed to the Gazette. The Festival of Lights, Riverside's most prominent annual tradition, will continue under the new ownership. Conversations with the Mission Inn Foundation, oof, that's where it gets a little bit more sticky, I think. Current staff and other community stakeholders are expected during the month long closing period. Interesting. Ward 1 Council Member Philip Falcone, I think it's just Falcon, but I say Falcone, welcomes the news in a statement. Now, as a new era of ownership will soon begin, I wish the Yuha Vietnam of San Manuel Nation great success, Falcone said. Their commitment and investment in our region also stretches back generations. Well, I mean, if they're the native American, I mean, if they're the native peoples to this land, um, they're the only ones whose whose commitment and investment actually does stretch back generations. I'm sorry, that's dumb. As a council member who represents the Mission Inn and its surroundings, I look forward to working closely with San Manuel during this tradition. The Mission Inn occupies a full city block in the heart of downtown Riverside and is widely considered the largest mission revival style building in the United States. Built up from the 1876 Glenwood Cottage by Frank Augustus Miller beginning in 1880 and expanded across four major architectural phases through 1931, the hotel has hosted four U.S. presidents and two presidential weddings. What? Who got married? Which president got married at the Mission Inn? And why? Like, why not get married at the White House? You know, that's the ultimate flex. All right. It earned the 2024 Stewards of History and Historic Preservation Award from the Historic Hotels of America. Wow, I gotta look that up later. I'm a little bit of a hotel buff myself, having worked in the hospitality industry of the greater Midwest, aka Chicago. All right. Riverside has its own deep place in modern history of California tribal sovereignty. In 1919, leaders from across Southern California Indian country gathered in Riverside and founded the Mission Indian Federation, which campaigned for tribal home rule and self determination under the motto Human Rights and Home Rule. Its members came from Serrano, Kahuya. Oh, oh man. At least I know how to say the Tongva. I know how to say that. Um, okay. Professor Guzman said Reagan's honeymoon was there. Of course. Oh my God. So you're telling me Nancy Reagan was at the Mission Inn? Throat goat Nancy Reagan. Nixon and Reagan married at the Stardust City Hag. Nixon and Reagan married at the Mission Inn before they became. Oh. That's crazy. That's crazy. Thank you, Professor Guzman. The hold on, I gotta keep Yahaviatom. Or sorry, Yuhaviatom. The Yuhaviatom of San Manuel Nation contributes more than 7,000 jobs. Oof, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. 7,000 jobs to the Inland Empire economy and has given more than 425 million in philanthropic support to regional organizations through its San Manuel Cares program. Its October 2025 acquisition of the Waldorf Astoria Monarch Beach marked the tribe's most recent move into luxury non-gaming hospitality. The Mission Inn will be its first acquisition of a property in a region it describes as its home since time immemorial. Oh, okay, I don't understand what that means, but I think the Native Americans are just happy to be reclaiming some of their land and property back. At least that's what I'm getting. Former Mayor Ron Loveridge, no, former Mayor Ron Loveridge, who served 18 years during the Roberts era, spoke with the Gazette in November. The purchase of the Mission Inn is not just the purchasing of a hotel, Loveridge said. I mean, Loveridge, not Loveridge. Loveridge said. It's the purchasing of an extraordinary place that represents why people come to downtown, why people come to Riverside. Mimi said, I'm learning so much here. I know. Welcome. Welcome. This is Educational Monday. I kind of want to find some pictures. Reagan. Uh, Reagan at the Mission Inn. Oh, here we go. Wait, no, that's Nancy Reagan. No, we can't talk about Nancy Reagan right now. I'm banned from talking about Nancy Reagan. Let's just see images. Well, that's kind of a far away image. Man, look at this old picture. This really, really, really old picture of, I guess, the Mission Inn getting tented. Like, because it was, the pesticides or something. Yeah, look at this. Crazy. Chat, look at the screen. The entire Mission Inn, which is like an entire block. I mean, how many stories tall is the hotel? It's there, completely tented. I wonder what they were trying to get rid of. Hopefully not bed bugs. All right. Well, we'll have to look up later some information about Reagan and Nixon. Oh, never mind. I'm getting them right now. Oh my God. Hold on. That doesn't even look like Ronald Reagan. Okay, I found a picture on my phone. Wait, no, I'm gonna dox myself if I show my phone on screen. Oh man. Okay, here we'll show real quick. Let's go full screen. Here we go. We got Nixon. Oh, it's not good quality showing on my phone. But we got Nixon and whatever his wife's name is, I forget. And then here we go. We got Ronald Reagan and I guess Nancy Reagan cutting the cake. Cutting the cake, cutting the wedding cake. That's crazy. That's so cool. You know what? I know Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon are like two, they're like notable Californians, right? Or I should say notable Californian politicians. Ronald Reagan was born in Illinois, I know that much. And then, he became governor of California because he's an actor. And, of course, what are you going to do? Uh, you're an actor, you own your entire life to Hollywood. This is your new home now. California is your new home. So, yeah, that's crazy. Respect kind of for Reagan and Nixon for coming to the Inland Empire. That's so cool. All right, all right, all right. Let's get back to the article. Okay. The oh no, not Love Ridge. Um as a Serrano descendant, I am happy to hear the good news that the you have a Tom of San Manuel Nation has purchased the Mission Inn, said Rosie Aradonda, the co-director. Oh my, okay, Mount Rubidoux. I at least know where Mount Rubidoux is. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I was just on full screen with my full face. You guys were just getting me in 4K. Here's the article again. Knowing such an iconic building in Riverside is now owned by a local native tribe feels like a win for all of Indian country. I pray Creator blesses San Manuel on this new endeavor. I know the ancestors smile upon them for continuing to act on their beliefs in a good way. All right. Thank you, Justin Padre. Great article. Let's see the. Okay, so this is the actual press release from the San Manuel Indians. Here's a really cool picture of. I think this is the Mission Inn, but I don't know exactly where. I don't remember it being like this spirally, but I've only really been to the Mission Inn for the Festival of Lights when I was a little kid and as an adult, to take my girlfriend out on a nice Christmas date, it's cute. Okay, thank you, Professor Guzman. This is the Mission Inn Hotel. That's really cool. Professor Guzman, when are you coming on to talk about the history of the Mission Inn Hotel? When are you coming on to talk about history, period? Tell me when. All right, all right. I'll send you an email. Well, and I got to figure out how to do Zoom, streaming Zoom, but we can do it. We can do it. All right, let's read the official press release from the San Manuel Indians. Okay. Today announces that the San Manuel Investment Authority, through its affiliated entities, has entered into an agreement to purchase the historic Mission Inn Hotel. I want to know how much they purchased it for, you know? The Mission Inn holds a special place in our hearts, said Chairwoman Lynn Valbuena. Generations of our family love the inn, blah, blah, blah. Under the leadership, the Mission Inn has received widespread recognition and acclaim, including distinctions such as the AAA Four Diamond Hotel and consistent honors for excellent in hospitality, dining, and guest experience. Their stewardship redefined the guest experience through thoughtful enhancements, including award winning spa. That's right. The spa was later added, I think. Um, and it continued expansion of its museum quality collections and artifacts. That would be really cool to know how like how big the collection is of the Mission Inn Museum. Uh because uh, that's I don't know if that's how museums gauge themselves. Okay, yes, Professor Guzman said the spa caused flooding in the collection space for the museum. Damn. Damn, that sucks. Kelly and Dwayne Roberts are also credited with elevating the inn's signature Festival of Lights. We already knew that. Drawing millions of visitors annually and cementing the property's role as a cornerstone of Riverside community in Southern California's tourism. It has been an honor of a lifetime to serve as a steward. Oh, we already read that in the other thing. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you. You Havia Tom. Look it. They put it in their own press release. Yet the Raincross Gazette didn't put in how to say the you have a Tom. All right. You Havia Tom. Honoring the deep-rooted heritage and enduring legacy of their people, exercising their inherent sovereign right to governance, committed to preserving essential, blah blah blah. Okay. That's it. Like, how much did they buy it for? Like, we know that Roberts bought the Mission Inn for $16 million or whatever back in 1992. I want to know uh, how much they bought the Mission Inn for today, but would they tell us? I don't know. It's not like nah, you're good. You're good, Mimi. Dang, I missed the one H. Yeah, but you were good. It was just in the Tom part. Yeah. You have a Tom. Yeah. No, but you were spot on. Um Business and partnerships, hotels. Is it in their portfolio already? Oh, wow. This whatever this hotel is in Dana Point, I want to go to it. It sounds like it's beautiful and it looks like it's beautiful. The Waldorf Astoria Monarch Beach Resort and Club. All I know is that Dana Point is one of the places for yeah, queer people to meet up. specifically sapphic people. Okay. Oh man, they also own the Bear Springs Hotel. Where is this at? Oh, it's in Highland. Three Fires Hotel is a property in Sacramento. Man, they're getting around. Oh, they own a hotel in Washington, D.C. Wow. Wow. I'm sure that's actually a benefit. You know, why not own a hotel in Washington, D.C.? If you're going to go and do any sort of lobbying in Washington, D.C., you have the perfect place to stay. And I'm not saying that lobbying is necessarily a bad thing, right? But, you know, every big organization has to have some sort of, person to communicate for them. Look, they have another part of the autograph collection. The Draftsman is a perfect spot to experience Charlottesville, Virginia. Located blocks away from foodie Mecca with views of the Blue Ridge Mountains, guests can easily visit historic sites such as Thomas Jefferson's private residence. Wow. So when are they gonna like open up have a little pass that we could go to all of these things immediately? Um Tribal government. Hmm. What was their little? They had the. This is a different organization that bought. It was their portfolio thing. Hold on. Expanding hospitality portfolio. Expected to close early May. Um, yeah, maybe we won't find out how much they bought it for until they sell it, which sucks. But I mean, how much could it be worth? If you bought it for 12 million, here, let's see, 12 mil in 1992. Yeah, let's see. We could at least do that. Okay. So 12 million in 1992 is at least a Google's AI is telling me it's would be worth 28 million in 2026. Yeah, that's it. And I'm guessing that they bought the whole hotel. I mean, I'm thinking that they bought the entire property for way more than that. Hey, Jared, thank you for coming in. Can they buy the Angels next? Oh no, we're gonna have Angel and Dodger wars in my chat, and that's gonna be crazy. But welcome in, DV8. We are having a pop off stream. The Mission Inn was just sold to San Manuel Indians, and we're trying to figure out how much it was sold for. It was definitely not sold for 28 million. Man. Let's see. Mission in Riverside sale. Value? At least Google AI is telling me it's worth 85 million. I don't know about that. I mean, but that goes to I mean, okay, the whole point is I just want to know how much they bought it for, right? Obviously, in 1992, it was bought for a DV8. Thank you for the robot. In 1992, we bought it for 12 million. Was that what I wrote, or what did I say? I'm stupid. 12? No, sorry, 15 million. That's how much they bought it for. Okay, so 15 million in 1992 would have the same purchasing power today as 35 million. And the if the Mission Inn is iconic mission. Oh, here, let's read this. The Raincross Gazette had an article saying it was for sale. Let's read that. Okay, iconic Mission Inn hotel rumored for sale. Owners say not true. This was Oh my God, it was November 2025. This was right after Mr. Dwayne Roberts passed away. And my anonymous source is telling me that it was in his will to sell the hotel, and they had the audacity to say it was not true. Why do people lie? Why do people lie all the time? Okay. Multiple sources report that the Mission Inn and Hotel Spa Riverside's downtown landmark is being quietly marketed for sale through hotel ownership, though hotel ownership denies any plans to sale. The Rain Cross Gazette learned last week, keep in mind it's in November 2025, from multiple independent sources that the historic property is being offered privately with an asking price around 85 million. Interesting. What did we say? We said so they man, and that's not to mention how much money they made throughout the years, but the Roberts sure did. They did a little they they made out like a robber baron. Thank you. While the Gazette could not independently verify the listing through public records or brokers, consistent with how high-profile properties are often marketed confidentially. Multiple sources say with ties to the property, city leadership, and commercial real estate community have all reported hearing the same information about both the sale and the price point. Crazy. So the question is did the San Manuel Indians buy the hotel for $85 million? DV8 said Celtics blew a 3-1 lead. Celtics, that is basketball. I know that much. I know they are basketball. Man, we got all the sports people in chat today. We got the Angels fan, we got the Dodgers fan, we got the Celtics fan. I did not watch any sports at all this weekend, and it was great. The closest I got to sports was looking at the Dodgers dropping a new jersey that has pride colors on it. Dodgers back-to-back champs. Bro, how is there so many sports people in my chat and I'm not even a sports person? I feel obligated to look up sports now. Oh, DV8 said, don't you dare call me a Celtics fan. Whoops. Whoops. I'm sorry, homie. I'm sorry. I'm going to ban myself from chat. All right. Okay.
Kicking off the holiday spirit.
Whoops. Let's see if anyone's reported. Oh, look, you search Mission Inn sold. Look at what comes up. Look at whose live stream pops up. Amazing. We're here doing the real news that no one else is doing. Oh man. Wait, hold on. 2 years ago, Mission Inn could be a
That's right. The Mission Inn Hotel and Spa is essentially a staple for the Inland Empire. If you live out here, you know what it is, you know where it is. It was built in 1902 and has hosted several presidents. But when we're talking about that legal battle, the center of it is those lease terms. And that's essentially going to determine the fate of the museum inside and the foundation, which are separate entities from the hotel itself. The Mission Inn Hotel and Spa is a beloved Spanish-style landmark in the heart of downtown Riverside, attracting tens of thousands of people every year for its rich history, the annual Festival of Lights holiday celebration, and for its museum.
We provide access to the artifacts, we provide access through tours, and without that, the only way anyone would be able to see the hotel is through meals, hotel stays, or weddings, which means many of our most of our citizens would never be able to experience it.
And apparently that's what's at stake. The Mission Inn Foundation runs the museum within the historic landmark, but after a decades-long run, it could face eviction because of disagreements over lease terms.
It would sever the foundation
That's
and the
hilarious.
Mission Inn Museum from the hotel. It's basically The hotel is our soul. That is the whole purpose of our being, is to promote this hotel.
The foundation has already created a petition garnering nearly 1,500 signatures. According to the city of Riverside, a lease was entered between the Riverside Redevelopment Agency and the Historic Mission Inn Corporation. Problem is, the agency was dissolved by the state legislature in 2013. A city successor agency was then implemented to wind down redevelopment activities, which the foundation falls under. As of September 29th, the Mission Inn Corporation served the successor and the Mission Inn Foundation a notice to vacate the premises.
That's
the 30-day
crazy.
notice is a prerequisite that our attorneys, our litigation attorneys, had to serve.
Sorry, the Mission Inn told their own museum to get out. That's crazy. That's crazy.
On the foundation, just as the city of Riverside has done, because the lease is with the city of Riverside. The foundation is a subtenant.
Attorney for the Mission Inn Corporation, David Bristow, says they've been trying to work with the foundation to provide alternatives.
Every turn they have refused what we've offered them.
The very first offer we received was 5 years, and we're told that we wouldn't know what would happen after that point.
Hoogland says according to an original lease from 1993, the foundation should be there for 50 years, but according to the corporation's attorney, that timeline is inaccurate. Bristow says a lease was entered in the year 2000, expiring in 2022.
Wow.
And I'm told the corporation and foundation were both notified about all of this back in April of 2022.
That's crazy. Professor Guzman said they did, and they added a candy shop. They added a candy shop into the hotel museum. That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't they know that candy can get all over the hotel? They should only be selling water inside there. Wow. Okay. We are on the search for more Mission Inn news and history, because there's so much of it. I don't know anything, and we are learning together. By the way, they had the city on their side and threatened to stop the Festival of the Lights. That's crazy. I mean, if the Festival of the Lights brings in that much revenue to the city, wait, I think it was quoted here in this one. Yeah, economic impact study from the city of Rivers. Oh no, this is just the Mission Inn. They gave this report, I bet, to the city of Riverside. Yeah. Let's see. Look at, they say direct the impact. Wow. Summary of economic impact. Greater spending and overall economic impact estimated for 2023 compared to 2017 was due to higher spending per party and higher spending per group night. Okay. It's just data. Them making the case. Okay. City budget for the Festival of the Lights is 1.7 million, I think. That's crazy. Logistics. Yeah. Total media. Wow. They really crunched the numbers on that. Thank you, DV8. Yes, reminder to subscribe or get lobstered. Wow. Okay. We'll keep looking into this. But let's oh wait. Jared said clutches pearls. A corporation choosing profits over customer experience? How could they? Exactly. How could they? You know, profits over people, right? But yeah, I mean, the Riverside, like I said, I knew about the Mission Inn when I first went to Riverside because I went to Riverside to see the Mission Inn. I think I probably did it when I was like in Girl Scouts or something. And you know, you to get your little patches and stuff, you have to go see different historic stuff. When I was a Girl Scout, I also went to the Rains, the Maria Merced John Rains house too. That was hella fun. Um, yeah, but yeah, it's like, you know, you go see the historic areas of your home, and this is part of it. And we need to look in more to Mount Rubidoux because I don't know about that at all. cross. Okay. All right. All right. Let's pause here with the Mission Inn story. We will do more research on the back end, but that was crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, overall, it seems like it's going to be in good hands, right? You know, native peoples taking back historic properties in the area, you know, like how can that not be a good thing? So, but, you know, of course, as always, it's like, why do you have to own this many hotels? But, you know, that's just investment in general. This is the portfolio that the San Manuel Nation has. And, you know, of course, we know what's the best thing to do when you're investing: diversification. You're not going to put all your eggs in one basket. You're going to put eggs in as many baskets as you can, especially if they, you know, have great inflation. Okay. All right. So let's get to the next story for today, and that is our favorite Javier Becerra. Um, oh my God, Steve Hilton covered Javier Becerra. We're not gonna watch that. We're not gonna watch that. We're not gonna watch Steve Hilton. Um, but we will read this article. Deviate said, "Yeah, invest even though the company might be doing something illegal and or immoral." I know. Um, but what can you do? That's business. I guess the goal in business is to just be as legal and moral as possible, but yeah. Okay. So here's a story I wanted to cover. KQED. You know, I'm starting to love them a lot. It's local news in Sacramento. But they wrote this very interesting story on my favorite for governor right now, although I think I might change it after reading this article. Yep, it's the cook in the books guy. Turns out he was maybe snitching on himself and saying other people are cooking the books, but maybe it was just him cooking the books. So we'll find out. All right. From KQED by April Dombrowski, Javier Becerra backpedals on single payer as he woos powerful doctors lobby. Democratic candidate Javier Becerra has softened his support for single-payer healthcare system as he secures endorsements in his bid to be California's next governor, most recently from the powerful doctors group California Medical Association. Wow, which officially backed him this week. The former health secretary under President Joe Biden has advocated for government-run healthcare since he was in Congress 30 years ago. But when doctors with the medical association prepared the candidate with questions or peppered the candidate with questions on single payer during a recent private meeting, they said Becerra told them he had other priorities. Damn, that's not sounding good. Not sounding good at all for our boy Javier. He said he said very clearly at this point he wasn't supportive of single payer, said Dr. Renee Bravo, president of California Medical Association. The trade group for doctors is one of the most influential medical lobbies in California and has a long opposed effort to establish a single payer system in the state, arguing it is not economically feasible and would erode physician autonomy. Yeah, thank you, Deviate. Bruh, come on. Single payer would mean that doctors would probably get paid more reliably. More doctors would be paid, you know, more probably equally. And I'm sure that's why they don't like it. Because right now, especially with like Medi-Cal and Medicare, I know Medicare got funding cut because of Trump. But you know, at least here in the Inland Empire, some of the experience I have working for healthcare systems here is that doctors get to name their own prices. Doctors get to name their own prices, and it's literally taxpayer money. You know, obviously, Medicaid has different rules and regulations, but doctors find a way around it. And I don't understand why doctors would be against single payer, why doctors would be against getting more patients enrolled, right? Why would any business be against having more customers come in? Oh, because there's probably something fishy going on there, right? So yeah, that's a story for another time. We'll have to research the healthcare industry in California at a later date. But based on what I know, it's a crazy system, and yeah, there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of abuse. But I am still a staunch advocate for single payer because I believe everyone should have healthcare, and it should be as cheap as possible. I want people to stop going to Mexico to get healthcare. I want Californians to just stay here in California to get healthcare. Californians do not need to go to Mexico to get healthcare. Yes, healthcare is a human right. I agree with that. California lawmakers failed multiple times to pass legislation in support of single payer in recent years. In 2022, legislative analysis estimated the cost of operating such a system could top 391 billion a year and said it would require passing new taxes on California residents and businesses, which is crazy. I don't know why. We're already paying taxes. We're already paying having taxes be taken out of our paychecks to fund Medicare. Just bump it up by a few cents and we'll be able to serve everyone. It's not like new taxes. It's just add on to the tax. We already pay for Social Security. We already pay for Medicare. We already pay for, all these things. Just make it available to everyone who's paying for it. The association endorsed Becerra in the crowded race for governor on April 28th, as he quickly rose to become the frontrunner in 2 weeks after Eric Swallow's dropout. Becerra's sudden popularity in the polls and scramble to secure additional campaign finance have forced him to clarify the nuances of his policy positions, including single payer. And here's a picture of the debate from the other night. The next debate, I think, is going to be tomorrow, which is going to be crazy. So be sure to tune into that. Subscribe if you haven't already. So that way you can get notifications when we're live watching the debate. Becerra's campaign website links to a video of him testifying before Congress in 1994. Let's watch that. Oh my God, he's so young.
Join my colleagues who support the single-payer plan. I do so because I believe that health care is a right, not a privilege, and I believe it is a responsibility, not an option.
Yep.
I also believe that our healthcare system must be prudent and cost-effective, and quite honestly, I've seen nothing that does a better job of addressing that concern than the single-payer system.
Yep.
What we ultimately want to have is meaningful health care reform. And for me, meaningful health care reform means that we must have universal coverage, we must have portability,
Amen.
We must have choice of provider, and we
Amen.
must, of course, have cost savings. And in that regard, we must truly zero in on the issue of prevention. I myself am looking forward to the day when one of the best OBGYNs in the world, my wife, can come home and no longer tell me the stories of the babies that she delivers from womb to incubator, and instead tells me that rather than spending $3,000 a day for intensive care for a newborn, we spend less than $1,000 for 9 months of prenatal care.
Wow.
I applaud the chairman and the work of this committee and its staff for making sure that the working poor, those who are always accused of burdening the system, yet they work day in, day out to try to provide for their families, that they are taken care of in this proposal by the chairman.
Okay, that's it. Wow. That sounds like a full-hearted support and backing of single payer. In 1994, chat, you are going to know that I was born in 1993 by the end of this stream, because I was only 1 year old when he said this. This was back when I'm sure Hillary Clinton was trying to do her single or universal health care. And he was a representative at the time and he was on board for it. So what's the big switch up now that he talked to the California Medical Association? Does money in politics change people? Is money in politics a bad thing? I don't know, man. It sounds like it because he's changing his whole attitude on it. Well, at least he hasn't come out and said anything yet, but just hearing from behind, right? Okay. In support of single player proclaiming healthcare is a right, not a privilege. On March 23rd, 2026, the anniversary of the passage of the Affordable Care Act, that's right, that's Obamacare, Becerra wrote in a social media post, I proudly helped write it, passed it, and defended it in court. Now I'm ready to go further as governor and deliver single payer healthcare for our state. Wow, that's confusing. Yeah, DV8 said, yes, money in politics is a bad thing. 100%. I don't know what the solution is, though. I really don't know. But more recently, his message was significantly subdued. A single payer system is in the right goal, but it's not possible under the administration. And right now, we have a crisis on our hands, wrote Jonathan Underland, a campaign spokesperson, in a statement to KQED on Thursday. Trump is slashing Medi-Cal and handing tax breaks to billionaires while the millions of Californians risk losing their coverage. Indeed, Bravo relayed that Becerra said as much in his meetings with the Medical Association, telling the doctors his top focus was how to cope with funding losses from H.R. 1, President Trump's big beautiful bill, his BBL, that is expected to drain $9.5 billion per year from California's safety net programs, including Medi-Cal, which provides free healthcare coverage for more than 14 million low-income Californians. All right, see you later, DV8. Thank you for joining us. See you later. Have a good rest of your day. The most important thing was making sure that we're all on the same page in terms of how HR 1 is going to affect the healthcare system in California and how we're going to ensure funding mechanisms that allow people to have access to care, Bravo said. Becerra told the doctors that now was not the time for single payer. Yikes. Big yikes. And that making any kind of progress on it while President Trump was in office was unrealistic. No, brother. This is where, we need, you know, that like Ro Khanna, Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever the other guy's name is. We need to have that sort of cross, you know, uh, bipartisan support, right? I'm pretty sure at this point, Republicans, Democrats, independents, even libertarians, I'm sure at this point, support having some sort of single payer healthcare or having, the government subsidize healthcare for citizens because it's too damn much. For California to launch a single payer system, it would need permission from the federal government to reallocate federal fundings it receives for Medicaid and Medicare to the state's new system, which the Trump administration would almost certainly wouldn't grant. Becerra's backpedaling on single payer is reminiscent of Governor Gavin Newsom's retreat on the issue. Yes, I was just going to say that Governor Newsom took away Medicare for undocumented immigrants. Like, what the heck? That was the most vulnerable people in our population. Yeah, let's take away the healthcare from them first. That's crazy. That's something I disagree with a lot with with Newsom on because I just can't believe you would, you know, do that in such a state. Like, that's crazy. But okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Hopefully, like this is me coping here with Becerra, but hopefully he just lied to the doctors and actually does stand by single payer, but I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. On the campaign trail for governor in 2018, Newsom touted his support of a single payer system. But once in office, he confronted the obstacle posed by the first Trump administration and shifted to talk to universal access instead. He supported legislation that expanded eligibility for insurance coverage to immigrants lacking permanent legal status, only to scale it back last year, exactly, as the state faced a budget deficit and federal cuts. Yeah, it's like, no, come on, bro. Protect the Californians that are not being protected by anyone. But okay, whatever. Gotta, save the budget, I guess. Other Democratic candidates for governor have continued to voice ardent support of a Medicare for All type system, including Tom Steyer, Katie Porter, and Tony Thurmond. The two Republican candidates are steadfastly opposed. That's right. We heard Chad Bianco last debate say, if you want universal health care, go live in socialism. We don't want socialism here. And it's like, news for you, buddy. I have a feeling that a lot more younger people, I have a feeling that a lot more people in California, a lot more people across the nation are not as afraid of socialism as our parents and grandparents who grew up during the Red Scare were. And you know what? I'm feeling like socialism, if you're branding yourself as a socialist candidate, I feel like that's going to get you more bonus points than negativity at this point. And that's not my own personal feelings. This is like what I see. This is me making analysis here, right? This is, let me pull out my Bernie Sanders shirt and y'all can see what a big socialist I truly am. But, it's like I'm not advocating for socialism right now. I'm saying that people are down for socialism because they are so done with this hyper capitalism. Um so yeah. State Assembly member Ash Clarla of San Jose, who has backed recent single payer bills in Sacramento, said Becerra sketched out a roadmap of how to set up single payer system while he was health secretary and knows how to get it done. But Carla has endorsed Steyer for governor because of his clear commitment to advancing single payer policy. So this is where I am super confused, chat. Like, how do we have the billionaire Tom Steyer? How do we have Tom Steyer, who's spent so much money to get himself elected? Like, how is he able to openly promise to the people voting for him, or, to potential voters, how is he able to openly promise, yeah, single payer healthcare is it? And then have Javier Becerra, who said it, you know, 30 years ago, but then is not really saying it now. I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you really like? Did the California Medical Association, did they donate a lot? Hold on, we can look this up. Open secrets. Here we come. Donor lookup. California Medical Association. Oops, I spelled all of that wrong. Okay, hold on. We will find this. You know what? Should I just search up and then Javier Becera? No. Becerra for Los Angeles. Oh. Okay, hold on. We will figure this out. Here we go. Candidates. Becera. Okay, that's from 1991 to 2018. We need his running for Becerra. Okay, well, let's click on this. Oh, it's old. I think I'm looking at the wrong page. All right, well, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Um, but okay. So, California lawmakers failed multiple times to pass legislation in support of single payer in recent years. In 2022, legislative analysis estimated the cost of operating such system. Oh, I already read that. Oh, we already read this whole story. I was just looking up. Okay. So, you know what? I think not that I don't like Katie Porter, but she's like the best person so far. Let's hear what she has to say on single payer.
Today, single payer is the only way to provide the highest quality health care for all. I've been fighting for Medicare for all since 2017 when I flipped an Orange County seat, becoming the first Democrat to represent that area in 75 years. I didn't back away from Medicare for all then, and I'm sure not going to as governor. CalCare puts patients over profits, making sure that every healthcare dollar we spend goes to care, not billionaire CEOs. In Washington, I took on big pharma and health insurance companies, fighting for single payer. And today, I am standing right here in California, still fighting. CalCare gives workers the ability to change jobs.
Okay. Thank you, Katie Porter. I guess like literally for me personally is down to I'm not saying that Javier Becerra is out of my top 3 or out of my top 2, but it went from Javier Becerra being first, Katie Porter being second, Tom Steyer being third, to now Katie Porter first, Becerra second, Tom Steyer third. Oh, no, I feel like I want to put Tom Steyer ahead of Becerra because I would say universal healthcare is one of my personal top issues. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, I have been watching that for forever. I'm so disappointed in Javier Becerra. Um, so yeah, hopefully I can make a little short of this and post it and be like, "What's up, Becerra? What happened?" Okay. Here, let's read this one from Politico. How Javier Becerra became the Joe Biden of California's governor race. Like former like the former president before his South Carolina revival in 2020, Becerra has been languishing for months before shooting to the top tier of his primary. Like Biden, he had little money and is now defying conventional wisdom about what Democratic voters want and is surpassing flashier, more progressive opponents pledging to upend the status quo. And he has done it with overlapping appeal, promising stability brought by decades in governments amid remarkable political upheaval. For Biden, it was contrast against the president who said he sows chaos. For Becerra, it's that plus the opening that Eric Swalwell's implosion provided Becerra's own South Carolina. Stupid, but okay. And the lesson from Swalwell's campaign and the risk of lesser known quantity can pose. In comparison, Theo Joe, what? In this case, Theo Becerra. No, please stop. Is he going by? Oh, because it was Theo Joe. You know what? We got to stop it with the Theo. We got to stop it with the Theo. It's so obviously pandering to the Latino market, and it's like vote for your uncle. Would you go to a white person and be like, you should really vote for this person? They're just like your uncle. That's a red flag for me. Uncles in American culture are bad. I don't know why they think Theos in Latino culture is a good thing, but I could be wrong. Um, Both men are name brand Democrats who appeal to high propensity voters, said Daniela Cenedejas. I guess that's how you say it. A Democratic consultant who works for progressive candidates in California. Even with the 2020-esque, we want big changes, we still ended up with Biden. We saw that in 2016 too. Hillary did a very well job in the primary when people thought the energy was going towards Bernie Sanders. It's the ideology of the Democratic Party. And then Hillary lost, and then yeah, Joe Biden only won because people voted for him over Trump because they thought Trump broke the economy. But the minute they thought Biden broke the economy, they voted Trump back in. People are fickle, bro. Ron Klain, Biden's former chief of staff, was an early donor to Becerra's campaign. Becerra, like Biden, came to the race with baggage, but much of it had been aired years earlier since both have had such long careers in politics. Whether it was Biden's plagiarism of a speech. Oh my God, I forgot about that. I forgot how Joe Biden plagiarized a speech. It was in like 1960. No, I don't even know. Oh my God. No, this was in 2019. Oh my God. Okay. No. Oh man. Okay. That's so bad. Or Becerra's response to a migrant child crisis and the coronavirus pandemic. A notable exception is the KQED reporting Friday that had Becerra backpedaling from his support for single-payer healthcare during his successful bid for the California Medical Association's endorsement. We just read that. Becerra's trajectory is hardly identical to Biden's. Biden's benefited in 2020 from support of the National Democratic Party power players. Becerra conversely drew limited third house support before Swalwell's collapse, and he was widely seen as a target of the Democratic California Party's call for non-viable candidates to drop out of the race. Yeah, that's when he was, as something smells like they're cooking the books. There's no really party machinist here, said Gonzalez, who has known Becerra since volunteering for his Los Angeles mayoral campaign in 2001, but hasn't endorsed anyone in the field. No one cleared the field for Javier. Remember, there were calls for him to drop out, and so I think voters gravitated towards him on their own. Yep, I sure did. I was like, man, you can't exclude all these brown candidates in favor of Matt Mahan. Get that white guy out of there. I was supporting Javier for that. It also helped that Becerra drained down his campaign account in early April, just before sexual assault allegations against Swalwell broke and toppled his candidacy. The share of undecided voters has shrunk drastically in polls conducted since then, suggesting some of Becerra's new supporters had not been engaged until recently. The idea has always been to try to understand what the best timing would be, when voters would begin to start to pay attention, and that helped drive the secretary and the campaign's thinking in terms of when to best put our money out there, said Michael Bustamante, a Becerra campaign spokesperson. The idea is to position yourself best to be able to capitalize on any eventuality. But Becerra's shock surge last month only placed him into a statistical tie for the lead among Democrats. Now, as with Biden, institutional players in the Democratic politics are working to push him over the top. The CMA and the Insider of Insiders, the Latino Legislative Caucus, a dozen of members of the state legislature, and as of this morning, the United Food and Commercial Worker Western States Council have endorsed Becerra since his rise in polls. He may need their help. Many recent surveys showing him at the top of the Democratic pack were conducted before Tom Steyer began spending millions of dollars attacking Becerra. Yeah, that's crazy. I've seen ads attacking Becerra, saying, calling out the child, the migrant child crisis, which I think is legitimate criticism. But I don't know, man. For now, though, polls suggest Latino voters are beginning to coalesce around Becerra, a demographic that could power him much the way black voters lent key support to Biden. The validating piece that Biden had was being Obama's VP, and that's what validating piece that Biden had was being Obama's VP and what that meant for the black community, said Sendejas. For Becerra, he's got the roots that people find familiar at the time when we still have ICE presence in our state. Yeah, we still have ICE present in our state, and I think we're slowly forgetting about it. That reminds me, I should go read a great piece that oh wait. Um Anthony. There we go. Here we go. Oh man, I thought he wrote this article, but I might be misremembering. Okay. Well, anyways. That's it for Javier Becerra. Oh yeah, we were gonna watch Mr. Randy Corrigan interviewing California. I mean Rancho Cucamonga. Oh, that was 1 year ago. Here we go. For Rancho Cucamonga City Council.
This is a Worker Power Hour with Randy Corrigan on the Teamsters Local 1932 Broadcast Network, airing live from San Bernardino. This is the longtime organizer, first-time radio host. We have been dealing with technical difficulties on a live radio show for now an hour and 23 minutes. We have been scrambling for the last hour and a half trying to make sure everything's working. Our screen up here where we can't see ourselves. He can see us over there, but we can't kind of see ourselves. And hopefully we've got the sound fixed where people are able to hear us on every platform, because we're on so many different platforms. Apparently some the sound was picking up and some it wasn't. So everybody's kind of jumping around from platform to platform. And we've had good guests on, and we have our last guest of the day, which is Dejonae Shaw, who is running for Rancho City Council. And most importantly, she is a union member. She is a steel worker, and she is an activist and an advocate within labor. And, you know, we just reported in the news earlier how individuals running for public office that utilize the labor brand, in other words, that come from labor, and explaining, I'm going to prioritize labor and I'm going to prioritize workers. They're winning, and they're winning big, regardless of the DR stuff. And so we appreciate you coming on the show. I know you and I have worked together through the Labor Council and other avenues many times over the years. We love having you on the show. And welcome back to the Worker Power Hour.
Thank you for having me. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear yourself?
No, not really, actually.
Here, let me adjust your mic.
Okay.
Here, I forget which one's you, so I'm just going to turn them all up. Can you hear yourself a little better now?
I kind of, sort of, but I can hear and
how about
yeah,
now?
I can hear myself now.
There you go.
So much better. Thank you. I was like, maybe I just won't use the headphones after all.
There you go. You got to kind of hear yourself to balance it.
Yeah,
right?
You do.
You know,
you really do.
She was like, hey, you guys, I noticed you didn't put on the headphones. We've been winging it. We've been winging it for an hour and a half. Right?
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, because it was the sound issues? Oh,
yeah, we were having a few issues.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all worked out now, right?
Yep. Yeah, because you're here.
Exactly.
That's right.
You are welcome.
You're welcome.
So what's going on?
Oh,
you're running for city council.
I am, Randy. I am.
Gonna make sure labor's voice is at that table.
Absolutely.
100%. You know, workers' voices matter. And you know, you said something so prominent, speaking about people running for office that come from the labor movement. And Liz Ortega, she is an assembly member, and she ran the labor council. I believe it was Alameda County Labor Council, but she gave such a prophetic speech at the California Labor Federation's conference last week, speaking about just the various like issues that are going on with working people, how important it is to have a labor background, you know, understanding what workers go through, and then her, you know, some challenges that she's been having with some of her colleagues. And so it is just really important to be able to have a person on any dais, on the city council, or if you're a county board of supervisor or any level of government, that's actually going to do their very best to put workers first. And that is my goal. That is, I live and breathe it.
Yep. No doubt.
I think anyone that knows me knows
Yeah,
that.
I was going to say, anyone that knows you knows that.
Not
no
in theory,
doubt.
but in practice.
Yes.
And I do my very best to do that. And, you know, Rancho, I love that city. You know, it is, it's where I want to raise my family. And right now, you know, the city doesn't work for everybody. I think that every city should do its best to make sure that you can raise a family there, that folks can buy homes there, and, you know, people that are doing the essential work of our city, you know, our city workers, our firefighters, our police officers, folks should be able to buy homes, you know, and what are we doing and to make sure that people can actually afford a house, you know what I mean? Where's inclusionary zoning or expanding that, even if there is a small portion of it that exists.
Exactly.
Like, those are all powers that are within the city council that we have at our discretion to be able to actually make better for working people.
You know, your point about affording a home and powers of city council are two things that I think that I've been saying a lot lately, because I feel like cities have not done a good enough job of putting policy forward that protects the very workers within their community. And they can. There's more that can be done in that space. And unfortunately, cities have acquiesced to either state governance or federal governance, and we clearly seeing a collapse in the federal governance protecting workers
That's
within our
what I'm
communities.
saying.
And
Collapse in the federal government in terms of cutting spending. That's why, immediately, I was like, okay, new governor coming, new governor opportunity. And Trump's big, beautiful bill is cutting everything. Who is going to step up and take fill in where where the federal government was helping out? It has to be the state. It has to be the state. And I don't know why the state is not stepping up. And then after that, it has to be the city. So big shout out to Teamsters Local 9032, you know, Randy Corrigan, Kathleen Brennan. Those are my homies. They're out here doing the work to put good politicians in place. And I had the opportunity to meet Dejonae Shaw on Saturday at the Teamsters Car Show in downtown San Bernardino. It was really cool. And so I might go canvassing for her. We'll see. She's not my city council person. I don't even know who my city council person is. But yeah, you know, it's just the fact that she made that connection with the union is already bonus points for me. It's like, this is what Javier Becerra should be doing. He should be going out here talking to the unions, not to the California Medical Association, but okay.
It's important to point out that cities can actually put policy together that protects their very people that work and live in their city. And it's interesting, you know, for years when I was pressing council members running for office, you know, 30 years ago when I first started kind of pressing on this message.
How old are you, Randy?
I'm old enough to be doing this more than 30 years now. That's what's crazy.
Damn, everyone's
I'm now the old man
for
in the
30
room,
years.
and I was always the young guy. So, but
You're still young.
But back then I would always watch a city council person or a local elected start to kind of back away from that responsibility and say, oh, no, I can't do that. The federal government's got to do that. The NLRB or the DOL or the this or the that, the DOT, you know, and then you get into the state, you know, wages and means and this and that. And as time went on, I realized, educated myself that cities can set that policy and enforce it. And enforce it.
Right.
And they need to, because if you go back in history and you go back in time, before collective bargaining was legal, before the 1930s and 40s, and before some of these federal institutions existed, the only place for protection was actually at the city government and at the township.
Really?
And that those places passed rules and laws and ordinances and policies to protect it. Sometimes it was like a mine, or it was, you know, some mill or production facility that was connected to the town that really was the economic engine for the town. But then they had a policy that protected this at that city level, at that town level, or at the county level. And when the federal rules came in place, if you look at history, you watched how everybody kind of veered away from it and said, oh, well, that institution will take care of it. And now what's happened is those wheels have come to literally a screeching halt or been completely dismantled. And it's a reminder that city governance should have never done it. Now, ironically, some of us were complaining about this before this recent debacle in this administration, where they're just tearing apart workers' rights. But most importantly, you know, focusing on what can be done to fix it, which is city governance actually doing. So I'm excited to have someone like yourself potentially and you know, win, and then, you know, be able to anchor down messages around how, you know, we're just not going to roll over to big business. And I'm going to give you an example of something. I don't mean to keep talking on, but I gotta kind of set the stage of some things.
He's got to get his worker.
We did a little digging
message out there
on many years ago on Victoria Gardens. And
oh hell yeah!
And Victoria Garden, for how much?
500 million, I think, or 516.
You know, they bought it for $1.
For $1.
They bought it for $1.
They bought it for $1.
Wow. Yep.
And when you see how, you know, when you see how the property was purchased, you see what the developer got. You see that they got a tax rebate, they got a break, and then they got sales tax revenue reallocated back to them, the developer, over a 20-year span. Actually, I think it's longer than a 20-year span. And not only the developer, but the anchor store, which is Bass Pro Shops, gets half of that sales tax revenue credited back to them years and years and years and years later. And so all that sales tax revenue is just kind of floating away. Yet there's not one rule. There's not one job on that property that's been created, not one job that's been created where someone can afford to buy a home in Rancho Cucamonga. Like, so now you've given away millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in sales tax revenue. You haven't set one policy to protect the workers. You haven't established some sort of requirement that people can purchase homes. And I'll finish by making this point. You see, the Amazons and the Walmarts in America, and, you know, this retail, sort of the retail giants fall into this in a lot of ways too. There's some exceptions to the rule, but most of them do. Amazon and Walmart are almost 3 million employees by themselves. And if you go to work for either one of those companies in a given city, nobody has required them to pay a level in which people can buy a home in the very city.
A living wage ordinance could assist with that.
Why the two wealthiest companies on the face of the planet employ people to a degree to where after I go to work there for a few years, I can't even afford to buy a home in the community I'm working in.
No, you cannot.
This is this complete imbalance, and they get celebrated, and they're supposedly great business people because they've been exploiting other people for this very long time. And the crazy thing is cities could have fixed this, and cities now to this day have the ability to fix it. And I know that was a lot to throw at you in, I think, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. But as a city council member, I believe you have the ability to start, you know, kind of dealing with these things. You can't fix the world in a day. I understand that. But man, you know, I'm hearing more and more individuals that are running for office agree with this position because they're realizing that when they get in those positions, they got to be able to influence those other leaders to make the right decisions. What do you got to say about all that?
I say
yes,
that you are. I say yes to all of it, 100%. No, you're right, Randy. I mean, there's not one thing that I disagree with. And you know, it's interesting because when you talk about things like that, people want to automatically associate you with being like anti-business, and it's just such an insane thing to even say how people can fix their mouths to say something like that. You know, this economy should work for all of us. You know, every single one of us, no matter how much money you make. You know, every person living in the city of Rancho should be able to afford to buy a home. They should, you know, have so many more resources that are available to them. We should be getting our fair share in District 2, and we're not. You know, I mentioned a living wage ordinance. That is something that could be passed at the city of Rancho and any other city that's in this county. You know, it's not minimum wage. It's tied to the cost of living. These are things that we should be speaking about, and not just in theory, but in practice for sure. I'm a huge proponent of project labor agreements. You know, I think that we should have strong local hire provisions that are attached to those. And then even when you speak about that too, like people are allergic to the acronym PLA, and you know, I don't understand that. I've never understood it, and maybe it's because I spent so many years being in the labor space. But it's such a blessing to be able to learn about other unions and the work that they do. Because I'm a nurse, and I never knew about any of this stuff until I started to actually educate myself on the work that they do. how they get the work and what we can do to actually make things better. Because, at the Labor Council, we're listening to each other's struggles. It's like, okay, we're going on strike, or we may go on strike, or whatever it is, and so you're educating yourself on these various issues. But the one, the common denominator is that people can't afford to live where they work. And there are things that we can do
is not a hoax.
The municipal level to help assist with that. And folks aren't doing it, I think, more so out of fear. And, I think you shouldn't be afraid to do it. Let the people decide. Unfortunately, in our district specifically, it's a very low voter turnout, and I know people are very
I'm so
apathetic
sorry,
to voting.
it's me.
'Cause they're
I'm
like,
not going to vote in my
forget it.
Rancho
It's
Cucamonga
gonna
Doesn't matter.
election.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to do what they want to do anyway. Who cares? My little one vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter, but it does. Every single vote counts, and it matters. And so it is incumbent upon me and the folks that are helping me to get my message of working people out there, because people work really hard, and our district is a true example of a blue collar district. People work extremely hard for everything that they have, and we should be getting our fair share for sure. So. And you also mentioned about the assault on workers from the federal level. And last time I was here, I talked about AFGE, the government workers, and how their collective bargaining agreement was canceled. And then now we're seeing, TSA is out of control. Those are those very workers that we were speaking about. I don't. It breaks my heart to see the state that we're in, and some of the stuff was actually foreseen, if you will, in a little book called Project 2025.
Project 2025.
That people didn't.
Project 2025.
There's no way that's going to happen.
Well, even the individual in charge
Read it.
said that, I don't know anything about it. We're not doing that. Or
They definitely want to dismantle the governmental system so they could say, government doesn't work.
Government doesn't work.
Look what's happening, but they're not funding TSA, and people have to be able to feed their families. And shout out to United Airlines for stopping all of the perks that they were giving to congressional members.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, sorry. I was just looking up the district map for the city of Rancho Cucamonga. Again, trying not to dox myself. I believe I'm in District 1, which that puts me with Ashley Stickler, which I don't know anything about her. She looks familiar, though. Like, I don't know. I feel like I went to high school with her. I also feel like I went to high school with Ryan Hutchinson. I don't know, bro. I don't know. These Lynn Kennedy, I met her before. She's good friends, or at least well known with one of my good friends. So I got to meet Lynn Kennedy. She seems great. Her husband seems great too. Christine Scott. This is who is District 2. District 2 is really interesting. It's really is just the south side of Rancho Cucamonga. That's crazy. So it's literally south of Foothill. So not even Victoria Gardens falls in District 2. It's just all the warehouses, the other side of the tracks, unfortunately. Other side of Foothill. That's crazy. District 3, that's very small, but it's a lot of I want to say like smaller houses and apartments. District 4 is by far the largest. But also I would say that's where most of the money is. I think that's where Lynn Kennedy is in District 4. My homie lives in District 4. I live in District 1, so crazy. Okay, let's go back to this interview.
I was so proud of them. I'm like, look at you
I
guys.
was too.
Like they don't deserve to have any perks. I don't
They
care.
can't figure it out.
100%. You guys are still getting paid in the midst of a government shutdown.
Right.
You're getting airline perks and all this stuff. Meanwhile, people are barely keeping their heads above water. They had to stop working at their job to drive for Uber or Lyft or Postmates or whatever it is to make ends meet, and it's not okay.
Again, three huge corporation names that still don't provide a living wage for the very people.
Exactly.
Yes. Yep. 100%. It's just this, this vicious cycle of toxicity. We all have a role to play in it,
Right.
And I know you're probably familiar with the PRO Act, Protecting the Right to Organize Act, which is been trying to get across Congress for a very long time. It's like a joke at this point, but we could develop our own version at the municipal level. Protecting workers' right to organize. Right, the Workers' Bill of Rights resolution is something that I do plan on getting through on the city council if the people choose me to represent them, and I would be very proud to do it. So we have to do what we can. We can't pass a PRO Act essentially at City Hall, but we can do so much more than people think that we can, and that's all there is to it. So,
Dang.
Go ahead,
No, I was just
Kathleen,
gonna
because I
say
got a
that-
bunch of stuff I got to respond to. In here.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I love about her, and I love your story. Like, there's no one better to fight for us in these spaces. Your history, your background, like I get to read those things being on the PAC committee. So when we brought you in to interview you, I was so taken aback by your story. You didn't come from this luxurious background. You struggled as a kid all the way through. Your dad was absent. Your mom was had some issues. You basically raised your siblings and yourself, and you just pushed through. You persevered. You graduated, and then you got in a horrific car accident. You were homeless. And a lot of people don't know that. I mean, you've went through all the struggles that everybody's going through right now. So I want people to know and appreciate that, because who better to be in that seat to advocate for you and for what you need and what, and someone who's not going to give up. Like your life story is in and of itself very similar to Randy's, by the way. You guys are very identical backgrounds. Incredible. And it's what makes you guys both such strong leaders too, and fighters. You're just a natural fighter. And I love watching you at the CLC, and I can't wait to watch you in Rancho Cucamonga. It's going to be wonderful. So
thank you,
I just had to throw that out there.
A lot to me.
Yeah, I mean it, truly.
Thank you.
You said a couple things that, these catchphrases that, things are anti-business or, this or that. Like, unions, number one, are not anti-business. We want the business to be successful.
You need to have the business.
You can hold the business accountable and be pro-worker.
Yes.
You can do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, unfortunately, corporate America gets this message of, no, just let us control all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you look back on thousands of years of history, they are not good if you give them zero guardrails.
Yeah, right.
They cannot control themselves at all. They prove it.
Sounds like the
every
patriarchy.
time, over and over and over and over and over. And the other is, I always get this thing. People always, yak at me. Oh, you're anti-capitalism. This and that. No, I'm about responsible capitalism. Like, we live in a capitalist.
Okay. This is where I'm gonna have beef with Mr. Corgan, because I don't think. No shade to homie. I don't know how much reading he does, but there is no way to have a conscious capitalism, right? Capitalism's main goal is to get the most amount of profits, right? And we're not going to get into this right now because obviously we're here to watch our wonderful guest on their show. But man, I feel like Randy talks about that every time. Trying to like who are you trying to appease? You don't have to appease to the business owners. They already don't like you. They already know that you are bad for them, right? So don't try to appease to them. just take the angle that business is good and that we shouldn't have, oh my God, ad come up. Business is good. Unions need business. Businesses need unions. Workers need rights. Businesses need workers, right? It's a self-sustaining loop. But I don't know why. There is no, in this multinational, that means the corporation doesn't claim any nationality because they have operations in multiple countries. They don't have any loyalty to any nation, to any country. Multinational corporations are not our friends, and I don't want more capitalism that is going to create multinational corporations. We do not want that. We want small local businesses. I want people who have good ideas to run businesses, hardworking people to run businesses, and people who understand how hard labor is to be the business owners. Because I think you would truly understand what it means to labor if you have labored yourself. And that means being someone else's employee.
Capitalism, capitalist society. That is what we have in our republic. I understand that. And so the reality is there's got to be a level of responsibility to it, because capitalism in America started in 1776, owning an entire group of people, and that labor was property, there wasn't established value, independent value for it.
Right.
And that's the origins of capitalism in America.
Yes,
and everybody needs to like wake up to that.
History matters, for sure.
Yeah, that is correct. And it needs to be told correctly, because when you just allow capitalism to run without a level of responsibility, that is what you get. Okay. And so I'm going to take it another layer, and I'm telling you, I freaked out a reporter the other day over Amazon, and actually freaked out the team that was on the call with him. Like, I can't believe you said that. I was like, no, I hope they fire back on that one. And it was this: an attorney for the employer side had made some comment about something we were working on, and it was typical pro-corporate America, right? And I was like, well, they lack credibility. And let me explain to you why they lack credibility. They lack credibility because when corporate America had complete control of the rules, you called that slavery. They enslaved people. And if you look at what's going on today with an entire generation of people being exploited, literally exploited, it's one step away from it.
That's right. Yeah, one paycheck away from becoming homeless
It's
ourselves.
one step away from it. So I would love for you to challenge me in this argument. I will absolutely show you historically how you're backing into, if you give corporate America complete control, they absolutely will go right back into some form of slavery, some form of absolute exploitation of a workforce. And it won't be just one culture or class of people. It will be as many as they can exploit for their profit to expand, not just to have a profit, but just for them to get more, because to have a couple $1 million isn't good enough.
Never enough.
I got to have
Never
$1
enough.
trillion so that you could, strap me to a rocket and fly me to another part of the universe. Like, please get on your rockets and go.
Yes.
I would love for
Don't
them to
come
just
back.
go and not come back and take all your crazies with you.
That's right.
Okay, but here's my question to Randy. Who's going to do the labor on Mars? It's not going to be them. I mean, it might be AI. They might have AI robots, to go to Mars, go to the moon to do the menial labor or whatever jobs they don't want to do. But I doubt there's going to have to be some people. There's going to have to be some people in the Mars space station cleaning the toilets. And who's going to organize up there? You bet your ass Randy Corrigan's going to start up in space his own little podcast to organize labor rights on Mars and the moon. Because billionaires will not stop. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, they will not stop.
Because the last point I want to make, something that you said earlier, is the stuff's going on with the government. When you look at what Doge supposedly did,
there you go,
last
Elon
year,
Musk.
you know that no matter what, all the stuff that they cut, all the stuff that was going on, they so-called cut or did this or did that.
Waste, fraud, and abuse.
Supposedly that's what they were after. They spent more money in 2025 than they did in 2024.
Yes.
Right. Right.
What they did is they gave all the money to their buddies.
Yeah. Numbers
They
don't
gave
lie.
all the money to the buddies.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So they did all this little scam and you got to cut the waste. They spent more money in 2025 than they did in 2024.
Yep.
So don't tell me that you cut waste. What you did is you saw pockets that you can take money from workers and give it to corporate interests. Anyway, get me on my soapbox.
No, it's okay. That's a really important point. And there are so many folks on the Republican side that were like, this department that you guys created to tackle waste, fraud, and abuse, like, are we actually doing that? Like, they were calling out the stuff that the Trump administration was doing. I was really proud of them for doing that. Like, people need to understand that. I think some people, I think power is one hell of a drug, and people will say or do anything to get it and to keep it.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh my God. Let's reiterate that. She said power is one hell of a drug, and people will do anything they can to keep it, to hold on to it as long as they can, to abuse people, because power. Sick people will use power and abuse it. We need good quality people in power. People who don't want power should be in power.
And that is what happens when folks in Congress, obviously there's no term limits, right? For a reason. But whatever time you have in whatever seat that you're in, use it wisely. Yep. Like, you need to use that time to make life better for yourself and for other people. Like, you live in this community that you're fighting for, So when they were talking about this money that we were just blowing away at the federal level, a couple of them had some light bulbs that came on and said, you know what? Maybe I had it wrong all along, And sometimes it takes situations like this to pull a few more folks from either side, right, into the middle, and to get them to understand what really matters, and that's working people. You've seen people resign, say, they're not going to run for re-election again, or completely go against whatever the leader is of their party, and they should be doing that, because the government belongs to the people. It shouldn't belong to corporations.
It belongs to corporate America right now.
Yeah, it definitely does, for sure. Yeah, it does, but it shouldn't, But I have faith that we can turn things around.
You said something. I always love this debate that I'm about to prop up, and that is, people always bring up term limits. Mm-hmm. They're like, we need term limits in Congress. I completely disagree. I actually don't think we need term limits. I actually disagree with term limits for a bunch of reasons. Mm-hmm. Because in the state of California, the actually bringing in term limits into the Senate and the Assembly is what caused our energy crisis back in the early 2000s,
Really?
late 90s and early 2000s.
We'll have to look into
people don't
that.
realize is you need the experience. You need those good, responsible leaders that have been around long enough to actually learn a lot about governance and learn a lot about government, and also learn about industries. And it takes time to learn all that. And what happens with term limits is you term people out just as they're getting to understand how it all works. The problem that we have is actually the money in politics, not the terms in which they serve. And that's got to get out. The amount of money that's being put in to get people where they got to go. And I'm just going to reach back to that energy crisis. Those individuals that knew they were on the Energy Commission for the state of California, and they understood how energy worked and how Edison and PG&E and all of them, how the regulatory factors balanced with the private sector. And when the term limits kicked in, all those individuals got termed out, bounced out, and then that's why you had a partial deregulation of the industry. That was obviously the Wilson administration, who was governor at the time, and then you had the turnover and cycle at the Assembly and the Senate, and then essentially all of those seats got vacated, and then you didn't have anybody with the experience to say, hey, hit the pause button, because what you're going to do is you're going to lock up. And
Jared said, I feel like he'd be correct if there was only one party. Yeah. I think maybe in his mind, there is only one party. But because I like Teamsters 1932, they've endorsed Republican candidates before, right? And that's like kind of crazy, especially in this day and age when basically the GOP, the grand old party, the Republican Party, is basically the party of Trump. Now, they may be changing that a little bit because Trump is falling off or, just dying. I'm not sure. I mean, Trump is unaliving, maybe. But yeah, it's like I would love to have a debate with Randy, and he agreed to come on the show, come on the stream, so I got to set that up. I'm going to email him after the stream today. But yeah, it's like you are in an incredibly powerful position being the secretary treasurer of this union that represents like 1,600 people, right? That's a lot of people. And it's like, yes, the capitalism thing that he brings it up every show just about. We've watched quite a few or reacted to quite a few worker power hours on the broadcast here, and Randy has brought up capitalism and stuff like that. And that's why it's really interesting to hear him saying the term limit thing. But I don't know, man. Term limits, at least for Senate, I think should be more of a thing. The U.S. Senate should be a thing. Maybe not for House of Representatives, but I mean, they have to run every 2 years. And then the same thing with the California State Assembly and the State Senate. I think they are 2 years as well. Maybe the Senate is a little bit longer. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's ways.
And the private sector is going to be able to now manipulate the system to do what they ultimately ended up doing in California. And then obviously Gray Davis ended up suffering the consequences of that, even though he had nothing to do with it. It just happened to land on him. My point is that we when you get into term limits, you have to be careful that you don't push out people that have the experience. Right. Because it does take some time. Even though people have fresh ideas coming in, you always want to be able to figure out a way to have that.
Right. I agree with that, but I partially agree with that. 100%. You need experience to be able to carry
partially
out
100%. I'm just kidding. Partially.
I partially agree with that because you do need experience to carry out your lofty goals. Yeah. The problem is when you have these people that have been in office for so long, it's hard to get them out. A lot of these bad actors and. Let's face it, a lot of people that are in government, they're not doing work on behalf of working people.
Yes, they are not working.
But that's the
people in government. I would love to know the percentage. I'm just going to guess. I would say 30%, and I think that's lowballing it. 30% of people in government are there to enrich their own selves, right? Like, maybe, I would feel like I'm being generous by saying 50% of the people in government or 50% of politicians are actually there because they want to serve, they want to be a public servant. No, it's these people that they want the money, they want the power, they want the fame, they want the attention. That's why you get into politics. But I don't know. Let's hear what she says.
I think that's
that is
part
the
of the
money
money
part.
part.
Yeah. But that's because there are no term limits, Randy. If people, I'm not saying people should, serve for only 4 years, 8 years,
Right.
but there should be a limit. We shouldn't be turning being a public servant into a career for
Maybe
our
an
whole
age
lives.
limit. Maybe an age limit, like,
Well, I mean, I'm
85, 9-year-olds, and it's like, come on.
Yeah,
now.
some folks
Come on,
are
Papa,
pretty
time to
sharp,
retire.
but some of them are, they're not.
No.
And that's that's the nicest way to put that. But
So being devil's advocate
yeah.
here, I think
Yeah.
that if you still have the money in it and the term limits happen, it becomes even a bigger problem because now you're turning people out, and the only thing that's speaking is those that have the money.
Yeah,
And-
but that's always going to be like that. I mean, there's Citizens United. There's all of these
yes,
these
Citizens
different things that have
United.
literally
Yes.
landed us like where we're at today. It's not some issue that's going to be
Citizens-
fixed.
Jared said they lost the guy. They lost the guy you can have a beer with vibe after 2020. Yeah.
Citizens
With a-
United, right? Right
with
there.
a switch, you know what I
That's it
mean?
right there.
It's like it's such a nuanced issue, and so we could talk until we're blue in the face about this particular issue, but
We're not fixing it here.
We're not.
We're not. Unfortunately.
I just like the debate. I like the
know.
subject because it really always trips
Do you
out
like
when
debate, Randy? I hadn't
Nah,
noticed.
not at all.
Not at all. Not one bit.
Yeah, I know. We have there's a lot, but one thing
You've never witnessed me in a debate, have you?
Oh,
Jeez.
gosh, I've never seen Randy debate. Never. No, that was funny. I lost my train of thought because he was saying something to me and I have no idea what he was saying.
He was
What
saying
are
it
you
to
saying
me.
to me?
I said it's good. I was pointing like it's good.
Oh.
The debate, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like,
It was kind of like your some people are not comment. That was you probably heard me on the mic. And
I did not hear you.
I was laughing.
Okay. It's okay.
Every
no.
now and then, Mark comes out of nowhere into the mics.
Into the fray, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I think,
Luckily, we don't have Robert in here, too, because normally he'd be chiming
Yeah,
in.
you
No,
would. I'm
where did he
surprised.
go?
I
Snuck
know.
out.
Disappeared.
He sure did.
These are not
I'll be
agreeing on
there.
things 100% is
I'll be
good.
chiming in
It's
all
like-
the time.
It's healthy debates are great
Yes.
for society as a whole, and just because you disagree with someone, doesn't mean anything. We
Right.
all have our opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
That's right.
So that's just a
You don't have to
Opinions
go
are like assholes.
No, we're talking.
He did anyway. He dumped it.
parts.
That's okay.
He dumped it.
Yeah, it's live radio.
Yeah.
You got to be careful of the words you say.
right.
That's okay. That's okay. He dumped it. He hit the button.
Oh, okay.
I think she was okay with that. Is that not a word you can say? We
Not
need
sure.
a list of them.
Yeah, we do need.
Maybe what we do is we put a list up that says
You just
can't
don't say any
bad
bad
words.
words,
That would be
brother.
That would be funny. That's actually a good
No.
idea.
Oh
I
my
think you
God.
can say
Being
the
that this is
first
a
3
t-shirt
letters.
radio
You can't
show,
add
we
the
need
last 4.
Okay,
That's
I
what it
understood
is.
that. Yep. Okay.
That's all right. I think we caught it. He
Yeah.
reached around and
I
bumped
got you.
Everyone has an opinion.
Agree. Yep. Agreed.
Is what I will say to that.
That's
Sometimes
right.
they're a stinky one.
How about
That's
that?
right, that's
I
right.
like that. I like that addition.
Stinky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes they're a
Surprise.
stinky one. But yeah.
As animated as I am, I have found a way to clean up my language.
Yes. Yes.
I know
you
how
have.
I can do I can get fired up and do some crazy
Yeah.
stuff and not drop one
Yeah.
foul word.
100%. Yeah.
I may use some stinky references, but
That's right. That's okay. That's
Leading to
acceptable.
something, but not the actual.
Ah,
Okay. Got
right,
it. Got it. Cool. We appreciate you.
no,
you're
debate is
right.
good and discussion is good, and that's how you learn is you entertain, understand, and recognize a discussion where somebody is not
Try
necessarily
to put
agreeing with
yourself
you, and
in
then-
their
and then
shoes.
you start to figure out how to find some compromise or resolution because it is not possible for everybody to agree on everything.
No, and that's okay. And somehow we've graduated to a space where if you disagree with someone, you're persona non grata. People don't know how to have conversations anymore.
Right.
And that's really sad to me.
Very
So,
sad.
Yeah.
But to that point, I'm debating again. To that point, I love because there's a certain population of people over the last few years that have been really aggressive and mean, and I could be aggressive and mean, and I've noticed lately when I've been aggressive and mean back to that population over that certain group of people
Okay.
that we all know who we're talking
Yes,
about right
we
now.
Do we? Do we?
It starts with M and ends with A. It's
Okay.
MAGA. Anyway,
Oh.
I have
Okay.
found that they get really upset when I bring that
Right.
crazy, hard, aggressive argument. It's like, whoa, you've been acting like that for
You're
years.
just matching
Yep.
energy.
That's
Right,
right,
I'm
that's
showing
right.
you
That's right,
that
they don't like it.
I'm not letting you do it anymore. You're not going
Well,
to
that's because
occupy
most
my space.
people
with
are
that.
keyboard warriors and they wouldn't dare to say most of the things that they say to anybody in person. Social media has made it easy for people to say
And
the
this
most
is
vile.
This is coming from the right. The right is keyboard warriors now. Those are the people that are like, you can't hurt my feelings because my feelings are important to me and I'm a person. And how dare you hurt my fifis? Now we got to cancel culture you. This is a conservative person talking, right? It's so crazy how it has flipped. SJWs, the blue hair screaming girls on campuses, forget about it. It's just MAGA hat wearing Charlie Kirk fans that are doing all the screaming and doing all the How dare you didn't write Charlie Kirk's name on my Starbucks cup? How dare you disrespect the life of Charlie Kirk like that? And it's like, brother, these Starbucks baristas don't even want to write on any of the cups, and they're having to write on all of them now. I swear to God, I got a Starbucks cup the other day, and they wrote hello on it, but they didn't really write the O all the way. So we had 2 cups that just said hell on it. And it's like, man, these poor baristas, the Sharpie thing was supposed to be just like a unique, fun little thing. And I guess they have to like write on every cup now. And we just get these super generic messages, and it doesn't feel unique anymore. And I hate it. What were we talking about baristas for? I'm sorry.
Awful, hurtful things to people that they would never even dream about saying to a person.
You better believe it.
In person, in real life.
My
keyboard
favorite
warriors.
was, matter of fact, Mark got to witness this one once. I pulled up next to somebody. There was a bunch of us and a bunch of them, and this person had this flag on their boat, and it said, F Biden and F you too.
If you voted for him.
If you voted for him.
I've seen that one before.
Yeah. So,
too.
I go
insulting.
I go into my thing and I grab a hat that's got something insulting the other way on it that nobody expects me to have, right?
I love it.
I get it and I get out and I'm kind of standing there and I'm working my way right next to the person, and finally I get them to engage in the debate, and I'm like, you realize that everybody in the boat right next to you, like, you just said F all of us.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, and I start bringing it. Of course, everybody's starting to get uncomfortable because Randy's in aggressive mode, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like bringing it to this guy going, look how insulting you are. So I'm bringing it to you because you're like driving around with this flag. You're inviting a confrontation, and I'm bringing it to you.
That
Guess
was
what?
First
I
Amendment
love this.
rights,
I love the fact-
baby. That was Randy exercising his First Amendment rights. Good for him. If you're going to drive around with a boat that says F you better be prepared to get some heat from that.
That you're willing to not just be a keyboard warrior.
Yep.
Now I'm going to bring it to you right now. And I've found how quickly they tuck their tail,
Yep.
and they're pretty ignorant to really most of the facts. because
P
then I start to
words, a
break
bunch
down,
of P words.
How things actually technically work through the systems. Anyway, I just thought I'd have some fun with that for a minute.
You tell people votes belong to no one, and shaming people is ineffective. It is incumbent on all of us to prove our case or to educate people to the best of our ability. But people are they are free to choose. We're free
See,
to
that's why
choose.
she's running for office.
I'm telling you,
that
was
amazing.
Smooth. I loved it.
That was
That's-
smooth.
That was smooth. Good. I love it.
Is the
I love
truth.
it.
I'm all wrong.
We're gonna make that little,
She's like,
we can make that little. We can make that little clip that we can replay, right? Commercial break or something. I like it. I
You're
like it a
welcome,
lot.
Randy.
Yeah, you're welcome. Once again, you're welcome.
that's why you run for city council? I don't.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
I'm going to stay the
Damn.
labor leader where I get to act like, a little crazy every now and then.
Yeah. Same, brother. Same.
That is.
So you're a nurse.
I am.
Yep.
Talk about that. And we only got a couple minutes. So.
Oh, do we?
Great. Great.
You went by
It just,
fast, right?
Flies by.
Oh,
3 minutes, he said.
listen, you come on to the Angelina Tucci live stream, you ain't got no time limit. You talk as much as you want. This ain't no public radio where you can't say bad words. I'm teasing.
See, when he gives me these numbers, it stresses me out.
It is.
Just cut me off. Don't even tell me the time.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from you. We want to have a smooth transition.
I know. So
Oh,
good.
she's great. I
Well,
love
thank
her.
you for being a nurse. Thank you for
Yes.
caring for the community.
Yeah,
thank you for
you.
taking care of people every day.
You're welcome.
Yes.
When I was in high
She
school,
said you're
I made
welcome.
a list of all the jobs that I could see myself doing. I wanted to be an attorney because I think I can argue very well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it. And then I wanted to be a nurse as well. And so I did some research and whatnot. And I decided to be a nurse. By nature, I care about other people.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
led me to do all the things that I'm doing in life. And you have to be a crazy person to be so empathetic in your campaigns, because campaigns drain you so much.
Oh,
They
I
take so
can't
much
even
out of you.
imagine.
Everything I've ever done in life, it is a draining career to be a nurse. And I didn't think that I was actually cut out for it in the beginning, because I remember I had a hospice patient, a couple of them, they were my age at the time. I'm 37 now. I'm getting seasoned, I know. And the girls, they were, I think, 28 and 25, and they were on the hospice unit that I was working on. And we became really close. When you talk to your patients, I work night shift, and so I'd bring them things, and one day you show up and they're not there anymore. And it is
Oh my God.
gut-wrenching
Yeah.
experience. Even talking about it makes me want to cry, because,
Ugh.
and then when both of them had cancer, and so they would show me pictures of themselves before they started taking prednisone, which puffs you up, makes you look a certain way, and it's
Right.
they're just like you. They want people to see them looking their best, you
Yeah.
know, and
Wow.
it was just so unfair. You see their beautiful children, you're like, why is this happening to them, So I do love the work that I do. All of it has led me to where I am today. It's led me to be involved in my union. It's led me to be a part of different committees that made me even discover that I had a love for the political sphere in the first place. And now it's addicting, because when you see that you can actually create real change through policy,
Yes.
it's like,
The
this
creating the
actually works.
change.
We're cutting you off right there. Got
Okay.
60 seconds, correct?
All right.
Seconds. Okay.
So we're building worker power in the Inland Empire. Dejonae, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate you coming back to the Worker Power Hour. Hopefully you.
All right, we're gonna end it here too. Here's Dejonae's Instagram profile. Let me link it in chat so everyone can follow her. She seems great. She got my support for sure. And yeah, so let's play some outro music. Thank you for joining me, everyone. It's been a great broadcast. I appreciate you all being here. Happy Monday. Have a good rest of your Monday. Have a good rest of your week. I will be back later this week too. Live streaming as usual. We got a lot more crazy stuff. I'll probably be back tomorrow if the debate is happening tomorrow. Because we got to cover that, of course. But please, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't hit that already. It's been a pleasure having you here. One of the best streams to date. Thank you so much. My name is Angelina Tucci. Thank you for joining me. We'll catch you back next time. Have a good one, everyone.